The latest news, national issues, the political scene, and conversations with prominent personalities. All these firsthand at the forefront. Good morning. I am Attorney Karen Jimeno. Former Congressman Atty. Miro and incumbent Congresswoman Stella Quimbo have decided to run together for local seats in the May elections. The couple says that they can serve their constituents better if the local legislator is allied and works hand in hand with the local chief executive. Is Marikina ready for the Quimbo power couple? We're honored to have with us this morning, live at the BNC studio, Marikina's power couple, the acting chair of the Committee of the House Appropriations, Congresswoman Stella Quimbo. Good morning, Congresswoman Stella.
Good morning, Attorney Karen. Thanks for having us.
And former Congressman of Marikina, Atty. Miro Quimbo. Good morning, Atty. Miro.
Morning, Karen. Morning, Panyara.
Thank you for being with us here today, and congratulations, Congresswoman Stella, on your recent appointment as the House Appropriations Committee chairperson.
Well, thanks. Wish me luck.
Yes, of course, it's a very difficult job. But first, we'll start things light. So people are very curious about the two of you in terms of your personal lives. So we'll be showing photos on our LED. And give us a brief description of what comes to your mind. See, Congressman Miro parang kinakabahan. Okay, first let's show this picture. This is the facade of UP.
Quezon Hall, of course, where we first met and fell in love.
So where did you meet? Exactly. Do you remember how you met?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Who will tell the
Stella?
story?
Well, UP School of Economics.
Were you classmates then?
No, it was, well, for a training actually, and he was a trainer for a, what was that?
She was running for the UP School of Economics
Student.
Council. And I was the chairman of the biggest political party organization then.
Back
So I
then,
was-
you were already interested in politics, Congressman
Well, I
Miro?
never looked at it as politics. I mean, I was a student leader. I was deeply involved in a number of national youth initiatives. But that's where I met Stella. Meaning I was training their slate. And lo and behold, I saw somebody extremely attractive.
So, love at first sight for you.
Completely.
Oh, and for you, Kong Stella, was it love at first sight when you saw Miro?
Oh, well, he was attractive, but at that time I was, well, I had a boyfriend at that time.
Yun ang dahilan.
Kaya pala may hesitation.
She doesn't want to admit it. Because, she had a boyfriend then.
But what happened then? How did you end up together?
Eh, siyempre, pinag-break ko sila.
Actually, that's my question. How did you get rid of the boyfriend?
No. I think
It took some time.
took some time. No, but they eventually broke up, meaning we had separated. I mean, we didn't have any contact. I went to law school. She did her postgraduate in economics. And then we just saw each other again after like a year and a half.
Oh, wow. So
And
you
then-
really waited.
I attempted at the start, it didn't work, but eventually we saw each other a year and a half later. So as fate would have it, talagang para kaming pinagkaisa ng tadhana.
Wow. How would you describe the young Stella back then and the young Miro? Have things changed?
That's a good question. Stella remains the same. Super athletic, super active, always taking the most righteous path. She strongly believes in her convictions and will defend it in the most ardent way. She will not, she's not very compromising. So what she is today, what she has always been when we were young.
Can you say the same thing about Kong Miro?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, he was a very popular student leader. Like, when he would speak in public, everyone would just, like, listen to him. He was 18 years old, but he would speak like he was 35. I mean...
So he's had that
He already,
charisma back
yes. I mean, we were so young, and I was like listening to him. I mean, this guy, I mean, he's got talent. And so,
Back in the impeachment trial, he was known as the crush ng bayan during the impeachment. Dati pa ba maraming may crush kay Kong Miro back in UP?
I think so. It's just that I saw him only when I was graduating. so when I met him for the first time and he introduced himself, and then the first thing that he asked me is, "Hindi mo ako kilala?" I said, "Sorry, hindi."
Ano, parating nasa library. Summa cum laude. So, you know, all she did was, she was in the library and then she was on the tennis court. Because she was the team captain of the UP tennis
Well,
varsity.
ideal daughter. Let's look at the next picture. So this is your mother, Estrella Alabastro. And she was the former Secretary of Science and Technology. Is she the reason why you dabbled in science? And you even earned the Most Outstanding Young Scientist Award by the National Academy of Science and Technology in 2009?
Well, she's the reason for why I became a teacher. So she also was a teacher all her life. Her name's Estrella, my name's Stella Luz, so Starlight. I am her light now.
Oh, are you the only daughter?
No, there's two of us. But, so yes, there's a lot of, well, a big part of me is really because of her.
Would you say you were the favorite?
I don't think so. I mean, she's very
Fair?
very fair. I mean, she's good at that.
Yeah. But it sounds like you...
But I am the favorite son-in-law. That I am sure of.
But you're not the only son-in-law
I'm not
naman.
the only son-in-law, but I am sure. Hand over my heart, I am the favorite
And she
son-in-law.
says it all the time.
Did you have to impress your mother-in-law
Oh, absolutely.
to win Stella as well?
Yeah, I think something I learned from my mother is you cannot succeed unless you convince first the mother.
How did you impress?
By being myself.
Hindi ka na intimidate. She sounds like a super smart woman, and she was Secretary of Science and Technology.
She's very, very smart. I mean, both parents are very smart. Both have PhDs in chemical engineering.
Oh, wow.
Studied in the
US.
In the US, so very, very smart. But I'm used to. I like smart. I like merits. We always win based on merits.
Well, speaking of merits, let's look at your father, Kong Miro. So this is Romulo Quimbo.
My God, the quality of the photo shows how old I am too, huh?
And he was a former Sandigan Bayan Justice.
Yes, he was a lawyer, and just like my grandfather was a lawyer.
You have a legacy of lawyers in your family.
We have a curse of lawyering, unfortunately.
Yes,
That's
and
the
your
only livelihood
brothers
we know.
also lawyers then.
I have 3 other brothers who are also lawyers. So, yeah, we take...
Grabe, walang gusto mag-diversify masyado sa profession.
Well, actually, we're just 30% kasi we're 10 in the family. So, we have doctor, we have different professions.
But was your father the reason why you also excelled as a law student in terms of being team captain of the UP Law Debate Team? You were president of the student council.
I think my father put a bar that was really high for us to try to meet, but it was really the pressure from my 9 older siblings. Being the youngest of 10 is very, very difficult.
Oh, you were the youngest of 10. Were you bullied by your brothers?
Every second.
Every second. Oh, see, but you're resilient.
Oh, yeah. I've learned to stay in an aparador for 8 hours. Inside an aparador, against my will. So,
How about the sack?
yeah, no, sometimes. But,
Is that for fun or because
well, it
inaaway
was,
ka niya?
I'm sure they had a lot of fun, but I did not have a lot of fun.
Hirap pala ng bunso.
Mahirap maging bunso ng 7 lalaki and 3 consenting ates.
But for you, Congresswoman Stella, you have a sister, 2 babae lang kayo.
I have a younger brother.
Okay, so no bullying issues.
No.
And let's look at this next picture. This is School of Economics. So you mentioned being a teacher before, being inspired by your mom. But how long did you teach economics in UP?
So I started teaching in 1992. I was a teaching assistant then.
21 years old.
Yes, yes. And then my last day of teaching was on the day that I filed my candidacy. That was in 2018.
Oh, wow. So from being
26 years.
professor, then suddenly becoming
Yes,
a
a politician.
politician. Actually, you know, Elizabeth Warren was the same. She was my professor in Harvard Law
Harvard,
before.
yeah.
And she was a professor and then suddenly ran for Senate.
Yeah.
So who would have thought, right? Like,
Even
but
ran
she
for
did-
president.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is a trajectory. But you were also summa cum laude in
Yes.
economics.
Business economics.
Business economics, and then eventually became chair of the UP Economics Department. Would you consider that the pinnacle of your career in the academe?
Yes. And
Why is this? Why is there a lot of hesitation in saying?
you know, in the academe, it's really both teaching and doing research. So as I say, you publish or you perish.
Oh,
So and to be honest, it's really the publishing that is more difficult. So for you to become a tenured professor, you should be published, and you need to be published in international peer-reviewed journals, and that's really tremendously difficult.
Yes.
So for me, I would consider the being published as the peak of my career. So all the awards that had to do with my publications, meaning my global awards that had to do with that, the peak of my career.
How many publications?
yeah. Sigud,
lot.
dalawa na kami nag-interview. That's a good
Oh.
question. I was
Many,
curious. Marami.
It's in, if you do Google Scholar, you'll
Yeah.
see it there. So there's a scoring. It's called the H index, and you'll see it there.
Wow. And what are you most proud of in terms of your published articles? So, which among them? The many.
I guess the first one is always the most memorable one. It's a short article on tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis.
It's in Health Economics Letters. I believe that's probably the most memorable one, and yeah.
And would you say that that at least has some application in the Philippines in terms of after you published it, were there anything that the Philippines was able to pick up from it?
There's a lot, because most of my research is really policy research, and we actually conducted the biggest randomized policy experiment in the Philippines. So it was a US NIH funded study. It ran for 5 years, and I did the very first long-term follow-up after 10 years, which was funded by a European institution.
Okay. That's very impressive. And the data gathering took 5
Absolutely.
years. Amazing.
That's what we always discuss over breakfast. Yeah.
Very
The National
intellectual.
Institute of Health policy differences.
Well, I'm curious how you discuss this with, well, okay, next picture actually has to do with Miro. Later, I'm curious how you raised your children. But you worked at the Poblador, Bautista, and Reyes
Yes,
Law Office.
I'm very proud to have joined and very privileged to have been part of that firm, because, you know, when you get an invitation from Poblador Bautista, it's a very, very distinct privilege, because they only invite very, very few people, and I was very honored.
I remember also, I think when we were in law school, that was the case. It was, they only invite a few law students as well. What was the most memorable case you handled for the firm?
The impeachment of Erap Estrada.
Ah, you were there.
I was there. I was a
In
young
the
associate.
prosecution or
In the
defense?
prosecution. I've
Interesting.
always
So
been in
you've
the
always been in
prosecution.
the
Unfortunately,
prosecution. Yeah.
so I was there. So I personally handled, I helped in the preparation of the witness, Clarissa Ocampo.
Were you the youngest in the prosecution team?
Well, we were not officially part of the prosecution team. We were working behind the scenes, and in fact only got into it when Clarissa Ocampo decided to testify. She was the smoking gun. She was
Yes.
the only person who could identify who Jose Velarde was.
So I think you're the only lawyer I know that's part of the two impeachment big impeachment cases that have occurred in the Philippines.
I was also I was actually a prosecutor also of the Merceditas Gutierrez impeachment, but that did not push through.
Okay, so you're an impeachment expert by now.
I'm not. I'm just, I'm always in the thick of the fight. I don't know why. I mean,
And how long were you in private practice before you decided to enter politics?
for 3.5 years.
3.5.
So for almost 4 years, I was practicing, and then I got into government, not politics. I was invited by then Secretary Mike Defensor, the youngest cabinet member, to join him in the housing portfolio of GMA.
And what made you decide to run?
Well, I decided to run in 2010. First, I got fired because I had a major tiff with the housing secretary then, Noli De Castro. But we've patched up. We're friends. I just felt like it was something that I had really wanted to do, and the opportunity came because the congressman then was now terming out. So I said, give it a try. I mean, nobody gave me a Chinaman's chance but God provided the path.
And next picture is about Stella's career also in government. So you became a commissioner of the Philippine Competition Commission during the term of then President Benigno Aquino III. So what was your legacy in PCC?
So I was one of the founding commissioners, which meant we had to set up office, we had to write up the rules. And the thing with the PCC is that the cases had to be decided using a combination of law and economics. So
you were perfect for this role.
Well, I think so. And it was absolutely fun for me. I think my legacy was, well, I guess it was really putting in the economic way of thinking into decision making in PCC.
And how would you respond to people who say that this added to the bureaucracy in terms of business in the Philippines?
Yeah, that's a sad criticism. I see where they're coming from because, yes, I believe that you're talking about mergers and acquisitions.
Yes, it's another approval process that they have to go through.
It's something that PCC as a new institution had to do. It's part of birthing pains. But I believe that as PCC matures, and as, of course, it's how old today? It's 8 years old.
Wow, almost 10
So
years.
I think they need to more and more move into cartel enforcement.
Cartel enforcement already.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think they should slowly veer away from mergers and acquisitions, as they are, I believe, and really go after the cartels. Kasi yun naman talaga nagpapahirap sa buhay ng Pinoy.
And nagpapataas sa
We talk
presyo.
about, so we did a series of onion cartel hearings in Congress, and as a result, PCC actually picked up a lot of information from that, and as a result, they actually did serious cartel enforcement on that case, and I think they're close to finishing that case.
Okay, that's
so hopefully
interesting.
rice would be the next.
That would be interesting.
And
It's,
then onion prices dramatically
Yes,
went
it's
down
not-
because of
yes.
that
so I hope we
process.
can do the same with
for
rice.
rice. Yes,
Yeah.
so
Most important.
that's
Yeah.
the hope.
And next picture has something to do with Kong Miro's, also another job in government. You were with Pag-ibig Fund.
Yeah.
What was your most important accomplishment in Pag-ibig Fund?
Well, that logo, actually, we revised that logo. No, but seriously, I think well, first I was able to pass a new charter that made the institution more relevant. Because when I joined it, we had 5,000 employees, but only had 1,800 regular employees. So the rest of the more than 3,000 employees were contractual employees doing regular line work.
Wow.
So we had to come up with a new charter, which we were able to do. And we were able to put more than 4,000 regular positions. And then the institution became tax-free. And then we became exempted from the salary standardization law. But most importantly, it became the most profitable government corporation.
Yes, I was going to bring that up because you made it the most profitable agency at that time. How were you able to do that?
Very, very simple. I inherited a bureaucracy that was extremely honest. But something that I learned with government is you need to share with them the objectives or the goals. They need to know where are we going and what are the barometers against which are we going to be measured. You will not believe it, Karen, but for the longest time, we did not have genuine performance appraisals. So we simply told people, these are your targets. For each time we have a holiday, the president declares a holiday or there's a typhoon, people were happy in the institution. Of course, you get to spend time with the family. But I would tell them each day that there is no walang pasok, is we lose 28 million pesos, at least in one region. So that's the amount of money that we lose because that's why it's important. That's why they did not want holidays to come around anymore because our performance bonuses were also based on income.
Your profitability.
So
how come
really
you lose money during holidays?
Because it's so business. We're a banking institution. We're a financial institution. People don't realize it while we are in housing, which is our primary mandate.
Yeah.
Bulk of our income is really in short-term loans.
Yeah,
So
and the
when
transaction fees that you get.
when you don't process it, you don't make money because there's
interesting.
walang pasok eh.
And let's look at the next picture. This is something I was very curious about. So just hearing the two of you, you're very accomplished, both overachievers. So how did you raise your children? Was there a lot of pressure on them to be like both of you?
Tingin ko wala. Tingin ko not from us, meaning imposing, because we know how difficult life already is, as it is. So, but siguro intrinsically, because of the environment of what they hear, of what they've seen, what we've done, siguro there's also a pressure on them, no? We try to discuss it as much as we can, but we try to say that, to each his own. Just need to find that where that crevice is, however small that is, and be the best that you can be and be happy with what you're doing.
Kong Stella, at home, when you are discussing around the dinner table, is it most of the time intellectual discussions?
It's really, they're very mature for their age, so we can pretty much talk about anything. And so it's really any topic under the sun. It could be something political, economic, it could be something really showbiz or Netflix or anything under the sun. So, yeah, it's a very rowdy conversation.
It's good to hear na normal families din pala.
Very rowdy.
I was initially thinking siguro napakahirap umupo sa table niyo pagka kasama kayo kumain. But it is very also like a
noisy,
normal family.
Noisy and chaotic.
It's very barbaric sometimes.
Talaga?
No, but I think we're also very fortunate that we have a very strong and very responsible eldest. So he takes care of the brood. I think it's very, very important. He had the most burden, but he also has the most privilege.
The eldest. And who takes up after you the most? Kong Miro and then Kong Stella?
Well, our eldest went to economics, Stella, and now is in fourth-year law school.
Oh, wow.
In
So,
UP.
he took up after both of you.
After both of us.
Yeah.
Our second is also taking up applied economics with math. So that's on Stella's side.
Applied math
Applied
with
math.
economics.
Yeah.
So all of them took after both
The
of you.
third boy
parang,
wants to do pol sci
Public policy.
or public policy.
are they also UP?
Well, we only have two boys two kids in college.
So
So one is in UP Law, one is studying abroad.
Amazing. Okay, and no pressure in terms of them going to politics eventually? Are they developing some interest to go to politics?
I think, well, as far as we're concerned, I think we've always they practically have zero involvement in the district or in the city. And because we want them to enjoy life, we don't want them, I've seen it, no offense to other politicians, but I've seen when kids grow up in the same environment, they tend to be very, they get spoiled, they get very entitled. People around them try to please them, make sip-sip, or no, very few people call them for whatever bad behavior. So I've really purposely not let them out because, and then if they want to, they can do it later on if they want.
And Kong Stella, both of you have always been in the limelight. Have you had any of your kids going up to you to say that it's an issue with in school or among their friends that, you know, if there's an issue with you politically, that it also affects them?
Yes.
Yes. So can you give us examples? Like what issue and like how did you handle that?
I think when they get messages, right?
Yes. So, well, unfortunately, as you know, there's really a lot of fake news going on in social media, particularly like the issue on confidential funds, which happened in 2 budget cycles. So that was pretty tough on my kids. They would really get hate messages, and I didn't realize how hateful the messages were until I started reading them, and I cannot even describe them to you, Karen.
Yeah, that must be hard for a mom. Not because of yourself, but you're worried about your children. So how did you handle that?
Took a lot of explaining, and for one of them, we actually needed professional help.
And considering how difficult it is with politics, why are you now running together for the first time? But before you answer that question, we'll have to take a short break. At the Forefront, we'll be right back.
Ciao, mabuhay. You are watching The Word Exposed.
Prepare our hearts as we dive deeper into our faith and receive the strength from God's Word. Join Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle as he shares the reflection we need for the rest of the week.
We pray that the Word of God would find fulfillment in your life and His blessings be always upon you.
Every Sunday, 7 a.m. with replays at 3 p.m.
Good morning, I'm Mikey Oreta.
Ferdy Salvador,
Welcome to Industry Beacon,
where we shine a light on the trailblazers.
the disruptors and the industry leaders shaping our future,
And in each episode, we explore how they're staying ahead in their fields.
one industry at a time.
It's a good opportunity to come from Australia here to the Philippines.
AC Health has launched groundbreaking initiatives to improve access to care.
I'm so thrilled we opened the country's first cancer-only hospital.
Industry Beacon on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
This is The Scorecard, where you score the latest sports news and in-depth views. I'm Anton Rojas. Welcome dito sa BNC Studios. How are you feeling?
Join him together with different sports personalities and have a healthy sports conversation that will help you to know them even better.
In the Philippines, everybody loves community.
We can say that you got hooked. The Scorecard, where sports is our business and business is our sport, right here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Welcome back at the Forefront. And Congressman Miro, Congresswoman Stella, why are you running together for the first time?
Ewan ko ba?
Well, it's we decided that it's a matter of necessity.
Why necessity?
It's
Many of our programs could not. We feel like the biggest impact you will have really is with the LGU. I think it's the most significant is that, however sipag you are in terms of in Congress, in terms of having an impact in the locality, it's really the LGU that has the most impact.
Yeah.
And there are many things happening now in Marikina, and the kinds of problems and the magnitude of the problems. We feel like maybe both of us need to offer solutions.
And in your experience right now, it's true what Kong Miro said, like the execution is really up to the executive, which means the LGU. Currently, are there issues with execution in Marikina at the LGU level?
Yes, we have a number of schools that could not be built, which up to today, parang elementary school, specific schools that up to today have not been built because we have not had the cooperation of the LGU, the city government. So the permits have been pending approval. We have facilities for schools, for barangays, and even health facilities. So we realized that you really need to be in tandem with the city government.
And Congresswoman Stella, you still could have run for another term as Congresswoman. Why did you decide to take a local chief executive position and have Miro run for mayor instead?
We consider ourselves as really interchangeable. Either of us could actually do Congress work or LGU work. So it was really more of looking at the chances electorally.
And as right now the chairperson of the Committee of Appropriations, you have until the end of the 19th Congress to serve as the chairperson of that committee. What do you see are some of the major tasks that you have to do? The 2025 budget has already been passed. What else is on the plate of the Committee on Appropriations?
So there are pending bills. So of course, as you know, bills would have appropriation provisions, right? So for example, there would be, I think there's like right now, EPIRA amendments. Yesterday I signed a bill on illicit trade on cigarettes. So there are many of those. So we need a couple of hearings to get those done. And most importantly, we still have oversight on the budget. So we need to make sure that although the budget has been approved, we need to make sure that the executive executes the budget well, so that the funds are utilized in a timely manner.
Will you be overseeing the implementation of the ACAP as well? Because conditionality was added.
Absolutely, that's part of that. So there are a number of items that are subject to conditional vetoes. So for example, ACAP, kailangan ng guidelines for that to be implemented. So those are things that we need to ensure that those guidelines are issued.
And has your opinion changed in terms of your interchangeability? Because you were appointed as chairperson of the Committee on Appropriations, but there's a few months left before this Congress ends, the 19th Congress. And if, for example, you were re-elected, is this a position that is still open for you, that they want you to continue? Have there been any discussions about that? Or are they considering having Congressman Miro take that chairmanship if he wins in Congress?
Actually, I was not appointed. I actually assumed this position, so I'm an acting chair of the Appropriations Committee only because it got vacated.
So as vice chairperson, you
senior.
Yes,
a
as
senior.
senior vice chair, so I assumed that position because of the vacancy. So it's a matter of rules, right? So, and because I'm not running, so clearly in the 20th Congress, there's going to be a new chairman of the appropriations or chairwoman of the appropriations.
So it's not
Committee.
really personality-based, meaning they're not thinking of having a continuity with Miro
Absolutely not,
just
no.
because you were holding the position as the acting chairperson, assuming if this goes up till the end of the 19th Congress.
That's going to be completely up to the new speaker.
And do you think that there can be any transitions to a new chairperson for the Committee on Appropriations in the interim before the May 2025 elections?
Before,
Yeah, meaning as acting chairperson, they'll put in someone.
yeah, that's a possibility.
That's still a possibility, considering the little time left.
It is.
I mean, that's how Congress works. It's always in a flux.
Okay.
So, yeah, with the new Congress on the 20th Congress, there'll be a new set of officers. We'll probably, well, I mean, certainly, I think we'll have the same speaker. But as far as the other officers are concerned, that will really be a shake-up.
And we'll go back to something lighter to get to know both of you better. So this time, we'll see how well you know each other.
Naku.
So we'll ask the same question for both of you.
We
and you'll
always
have to
play
write.
these games in kids' parties and we always lose.
Ah, talaga? So we'll ask a question and you have 20 seconds to write down your answers. And you have to
Oh,
show your
no.
answers afterwards. So first question, what was the most attractive physical part of your partner when you first saw each other? Timer starts now. Okay, I think they're both done. Sige, we can stop the timer. Show your answers. Legs and eyes. So, for you, it's the eyes. Would you agree that yun yung ba ang pagkakaalam mo, that Congresswoman Stella was attracted to your eyes?
Hindi ko alam, basta malagkit yung tingin niya sa akin eh. So,
In your opinion.
In my opinion.
And for you, it's the legs.
Oh, she's always had fantastic legs.
Yeah, she's tall and
So
slender.
the first time, because she's athletic, so the first time I met her, she was, like I said, she was a very active university athlete. So she was wearing the shortest of shorts.
Did you know that? Legs ang...
Oh, he would always say it.
So tama ang answers. Okay. Next question. Your favorite place in UP Diliman as a couple? Timer starts now.
Nako.
Nako. Nako.
Okay.
We
can stop the timer.
we
Can I
have
see
too
the
many
answers?
nice places in Diliman.
Oo nga.
Kaya pala nako. Okay, hindi pareho. Sige, can I see Congresswoman Stella? Quezon Hall and Sunken Garden. So,
Ay,
sino ang
mali.
tama?
Tama ka.
For you, it's really Sunken Garden.
Tama.
Pero magkadikit lang naman yun eh.
But it is a special place, a Sunken Garden. And one of a kind.
It's one of a kind.
Yeah.
It's a great makeout place.
Ako naman naisip ko, jogging place, picnic
Kasama na
place.
yun. You do the making out after the jogging.
Grabe ka naman.
Okay, next question. What was Attorney Miro's first gift to Congresswoman Stella?
Uy, nako.
Timer starts now.
I hope you remember it.
Okay.
Nako, I wish
Sige,
this
let's
is
see.
correct.
Answers. May dinagdag si
May
Kong
dinagdag.
Stella.
Kasi baka mamaya mali yung
Oo.
answer.
Okay. Aba, magkaiba.
Kaiba, ano yan?
Okay, so yours is a
yeah.
book. What is the book? Love
in the Time of Cholera.
Talagang reading that, I'm thinking you were trying to impress Congresswoman Stella, knowing how smart she was. Parang, okay,
My
kailangan
God,
libro.
how could you be so correct?
And for you,
Pag
it's...
tinan mo,
do-it-yourself card and message in a bottle. Pero romantic naman.
I'd make those. No, but the card was on top of the book.
May book ba talaga?
Hindi.
Hindi ko maalala. Interesting. Okay.
No, but you know, the beauty of you become really creative, right? Meaning Stella came from a well-off family. I was not well-off. She was driving a car already when she was 17, 18.
Yeah.
When we were in UP. I was also driving my mother nuts.
Akala ko naman driving a bike. But, and next question, what was Congresswoman Stella's favorite attire in UP? Okay. Answers up. Shorts. Kaya pala yan yung outfit mo
Uy, sobra
when
ka
he first saw
naman.
you. Ikaw talaga. May mga bata ba nanonood? Okay, but shorts.
Public participation shorts.
So yung talagang suot ni Congresswoman Stella when you first saw her, yun yung shorts
Because she was
talaga.
always from the classroom.
From the tennis court
she would go
naman
to the
kasi. Alam
tennis
nga
court.
naman, I'll wear long shorts, di ba? Din nadapa ako.
So you have always been athletic. Like you would go from class to playing a sport and then going to class. It's very impressive.
She was always good in athletics. Pati patintero lahat. Yung volleyball.
Well, she's made for it. She's tall.
Yeah.
But Stella, what would you say is a sport that you excelled in?
So in high school, volleyball, and college, tennis.
Tennis talaga. It's a difficult sport. Up to now, do you still play tennis?
No, I play golf now.
Oh, wow.
But you should see her play tennis. Talagang parang Chris Evert Lloyd.
Nakso
Hindi na kilala yun.
Hindi
Talaga.
na kilala no? Sorry
Very supportive husband. Ako naman iisip ko Steffi Graf. Oh, at least.
No, Steffi Graf is very graceful kasi hindi na uso yung ganun laro eh.
Kasi
Yung
double-handed
graceful.
ang backhand.
Mga ano na ngayon, Venus Williams. Okay, last question. What will make Congresswoman Stella smile? Timer starts now.
Hindi ko na alamaan. Haba naman
Ang
yan.
haba naman. Okay, let's see. Ang haba na answer ni Ko.
Jokes.
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 Very literal, no?
Ako naman doing well at work.
Good law, when a good law is passed. A
Meaning
serious ang
like
answer.
yesterday, you know, she was really extremely happy at she's been really against the moratorium on the increase on tobacco taxes. Meaning Stella feels very strongly against tobacco for that matter. Meaning if you don't increase the taxes, you will make it accessible to children. So she's very happy. That's why we joked around. So pareho.
Okay. But it sounds like, now I know why you were also attracted to Kong Miro, because he's always joking. So he does make you smile a lot. Is that true? Lagi ka niya talaga napapatawa.
Oo, kahit nakakainas, di ba?
Oh, kitang-kita mo nun, magbablush pa, oh. Oh, tama? Oh.
Oh, see, it worked na having to grow up with 8 brothers. Oh, diba?
That's really my best training ground, my siblings, who I dearly love, but just really beat me up to pulp.
Do you feel the same way about vape? Do you think they should also increase taxes on
Yes,
vape?
they're just way too low.
And accessible to children?
Yes, and therefore.
And now let's go to Marikina. And Marikina is known for having a perennial flooding problem. What are your long-term solutions to address Marikina's perennial flooding problem? But before you answer that question, we'll have to take a short break. At the Forefront, we'll be right back.
Lifestyle, beauty, food, we got you.
If you want a gift that gives back, memories that is, this one is on my wish list too.
Join Marie Lozano where she uncovers the untold stories and surprises in the world of lifestyle.
I had already accepted my excess baggage fate. Time to show me what you're really about.
The Lifestyle Lab on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Welcome back at the forefront. And Congressman Miro, Congresswoman Stella, since you're both from Marikina, what are your ideas for long-term solutions to the flooding problems in Marikina?
Certainly not dredging. What we need would be big ticket infrastructure, meaning dams. Actually, according to the DPWH, to be specific, it's 3 dams and a water retention facility in the Wawa area.
Why has that not been done yet?
So the idea is to collect water up there before it comes down to us.
Para hindi na, so at the moment, walang dam, so it just flows down to Marikina.
So after Ondoy, there was a master plan for flood control in Metro Manila that got approved in 2012. Kasama na yun doon. And up to today, hindi pa nabibuild.
What was the reason?
Budget.
Budget. When you were vice chairperson of the Committee on Appropriations, was this not something that you could advocate for? Considering, as someone from Marikina, you've seen the need for it over the years.
Yes. Yeah.
What was the difficulty?
So what happened? Well,
The master plan would not have been approved if not for had you not pushed for it.
yes. So what happened? Well, may nuance yung sa case ng Marikina because what happened was that a private company built another dam in the same area. So what happened was that it had to be redesigned for Marikina.
Are you on your way to getting this done? Do you see a
So there's a
possibility of this
feasibility
happening?
study that is ongoing at the moment, and that study will be done, and they said by August of 2025. So then we are absolutely pushing for funding for that, but it's a tremendous amount of funds that's needed. In other words, certainly a loan will be needed for that.
And before we go to something lighter again, just wanted to pick your brain on a current issue. There was recently an INC rally, and this called for the impeachment not to proceed. But in Congress, are there already talks as to what's going to happen with the impeachment complaints that have already been filed in Congress?
So there are 3 impeachment complaints. That's going to be taken up. But at this point in time, I don't want to preempt that at the moment. So
Do you
I'll
think
leave it
there's
at
still
that.
sufficient time, considering the calendar of Congress?
The impeachment expert
Yes,
needs
perhaps.
to be consulted
Yeah.
on that.
I think that's the biggest challenge is
It's the time element.
Time element is the biggest. More than
On the
anything else.
on the part of Congress, yes, but on the part of the Senate, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, we have our impeachment expert here. Do you think
Yeah.
it's feasible to even get this heard in Senate?
I think it's a political question, both in terms of deciding on the merits of the case as well as in terms of the process or the speed. So I think the House will have to make a determination if in fact kaya pa ng Senate i-take up.
And now we'll go to choices. So siguro hindi na to masyadong mahirap because we don't have to compare your answers, but just very quick choices and you don't have to explain your answers. So first, Marikina River Park or Riverbank Center? Ladies first. And just very quickly.
River Park,
River Park.
Physical shopping or online shopping?
physical,
Physical.
Ah, well, pareho. Fancy dinner or home cooking?
home,
Home.
Ice cream or cake?
cake,
Ice cream.
Doon lang kayo nagkaiba. Reading a book or Netflix?
Netflix.
Netflix.
I would have guessed reading a book for Kong Stella just because of she's so cerebral. Actual jogging or treadmill?
Treadmill.
Well, we want actual jogging.
Yeah, but there's just no time.
Oh yeah, that's true. Road trip or staycation?
Road trip.
Staycation.
Aba, magkaiba. And complete this sentence. Our favorite restaurant in Marikina is, answer at the same time.
Fino
Fino
Deli.
Deli.
Oh, wow!
Yeah.
Aba, o see, pwede na kayo sa children's parties manalo.
I know.
And our favorite brand of Marikina shoes is...
Lupe Shines.
Yeah, of course. That's her brand.
Aside, we didn't get to talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm so curious how you got into shoes. We are proud of Marikina because...
Of its people.
Same answer.
Same.
Okay. Okay, next time, tell
Sabay
the
dapat.
children's parties, dapat ganyan yung game na pasukan ninyo. Last question. So now you're both running in Marikina. What can you offer to Marikina that the past or current leadership has not been able to accomplish yet?
I think it's solutions to the current problems that Marikina is facing today.
Sorry, can you give us an idea what these current problems are?
So one is there's a fiscal crisis actually in Marikina. We have the highest debt per capita. And of course, with a very big debt comes debt service. So if debt service takes a big chunk of your budget, then that would mean your basic services are hampered, particularly health. And so there's a lot of catching up to do with health. So for example, tuberculosis. Unfortunately, TB deaths in Marikina is rising, and which is sad because TB, as we all know, is curable. So that's an example of catching up that we need to do.
Okay.
20% of the budget, 600 million, goes to debt servicing
Oh,
for the
that's big.
3.6 billion. So
Yeah, so
that's really a fiscal problem.
Yes, so that's the first. And number two, there's been a recent demographic shift, particularly, in NCR, meaning mas marami ng youth ngayon. So, and because of that, as you know, ibang needs ng kabataan, lifestyle change. So there's a need for more sports programs, more active lifestyle, of course, more jobs. And jobs sana that would only be in Marikina. Right now, kasi many of them actually have to go to BGC. And to travel to BGC, it takes them 3 hours, just one way.
Oh my goodness,
Yes.
3 hours.
So it's really job creation that we hope to do. So we need a more business-friendly environment. So that's a challenge.
Yes. And is Marikina still the shoe capital of the Philippines?
Yes.
It's still held on to
Yes.
that industry.
But it's a struggling industry, which really needs all the full support it can because it's struggling with the international competition coming from China, and it's very difficult. But we have the best artisans in the country. Like what Stella is saying is, the main asset of Marikina is really we have the greatest people. We have the most obedient, the most disciplined, the smartest, very creative.
Very creative.
And how long have you lived in Marikina?
Ever since I was born in Samar, our family moved here in 1974, and then I moved here in 1978. So I've been living here since 1978.
Wow. And
Stella
you moved-
joined me when we got married.
98.
But
98.
originally you were from
Quezon City.
Quezon City. Wow, you really see it. Followed, moved for love.
Of course.
Thank you so much, Congressman Miro and Congresswoman Stella. It was such a pleasure to have both of you here. And good
Pleasure
luck
is
in the
ours.
elections.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Amidst their intention to serve the public together for the first time, the Miro couple are master multitaskers, finding time for their children, drawing strength from each other. Just like their successful marriage, working cohesively together for Marikina will hopefully bring good public service to the city, should they get their nod from their constituents. Be timely informed, be insightful of the news, always stay at the forefront. Join us again tomorrow for meaningful conversations that would help you form an objective personal opinion. This is Attorney Karen Jimeno. Thank you for spending your hour with us.